story with you. A few years ago, I watched a close friend lose everything because he made decisions based on ignorance and fear of missing out. He invested in a shady deal without understanding it, thinking it was his ticket to wealth. He didn't want to hear advice or learn from others who had made similar mistakes. The result? Bankruptcy and regret. I don't want this to be your story. That is why I'm here, to share 7 financial pitfalls to avoid in 2025, and the flip side. How do you make the best out of it? It's the new year. Happy New Year. Happy 2025. I wish you health. I wish you prosperity. I wish you wealth. I wish you everything nice in this year. And it's that time for New Year's resolutions. What are your resolutions so far? This year I want to do it differently. I want to make my resolutions, in this episode, and I want you to be my accountability partner. I want at the end of the year to go back to this episode, to go back to things that you said that we should do and see whether they have helped us or not. I know there's so many pitfalls financially that should be talked about, but I've selected only 7. And these 7 are the most basic, the most simple, which I feel everyone should be able to at least do or attempt. Beyond that, I've done something extra. 1, I have 4 giveaways, 4 gifts in this episode. One of them involves money. I'll actually ask 3 questions at the end of the episode, and the first 10 people to answer the questions, I'll give them 1,000 shillings each to go towards either their savings, to go towards learning a new skill, to go towards whatever it is that we shall learn in this episode. The other 3 are resources that I feel are premium. Like, you'd need to look for a financial consultant to give you that same kind of resource. In the description, there's some downloads. I'll explain them, and they are for you to use. So let's dive in. The 7 financial pitfalls to avoid in 2025. This is Jeff Kafka TV, and for you who is watching, even if it's one person, I'm kindly asking you, please subscribe, share, so that I can be able to continue making this kind of content week in, week out. And even if it's only for you, I'll do it. I promise.
Welcome to the unveiling of Untold History documentaries, mastering classes in business management, and sparking insights through money dialogues. This is Jeff Kafka TV, where you discover untold business histories, master the art of management, and ignite money conversations that matter.
Pitfall number 1, not knowing when to save and when to invest. Many people focus on things that maybe are not necessary at that time. For instance, many people focus on cutting costs. And I believe it's a mistake that I've done, and other financial gurus on TikTok and YouTube usually tell us to cut costs. Like, if you want to save, you must cut costs, you must reduce your spending and all that. Then I realized that by focusing so much on cost cutting, we forget that some people have incomes that are so low that it's impossible to cut even an extra cost. At the end of the month, they have more bills than they have income. And in such a case, telling that person to save by cutting cost, you're actually inconveniencing them. So the first pitfall, I don't want us to focus so much right now on cost cutting than on the next thing, which is to increase your income. I believe it's possible to channel our energy in earning more income when we cannot be able to cut costs. And as we move on, as we proceed in this episode, we'll touch on these issues, like what side hustles, what can you do besides your current income stream to be able to earn more income. And here I've listed 3. You can have a digital shop, like online. You can have a consultancy. If you're a teacher or you know a subject where you can teach kids during holidays or professionals during weekends, you can do it. Or what I call the weekend blue-collar jobs. You can go to the markets, buy something in the farm, then go and sell it in the markets. The car boot sales. If you have chicken in the village, you can bring the eggs, open the boot in a shopping center at the weekends. And all those are ways to increase your income. The next thing I want to talk about in that under that topic is when we save or when we cut costs. The next thing we should think about is investing. But sometimes we focus on the wrong thing. Like sometimes we focus on investing when we should be focusing on saving. I'll give you an example using mathematics to be able to understand that concept. Imagine you have been able to accumulate 100,000 shillings in a money market fund, where the rate of return is 14%, which is good by any standards. So meaning that the annual return at the end of the year, you're making 14,000 shillings from that investment. But at the same time, you have a monthly Netflix subscription of 1,450 shillings each month. Meaning at the end of the year, you spent 17,000 shillings on Netflix. Okay, I know you have to be entertained. Lazima you watch your good episodes, or you might say, I do that for the family. It's okay, but if you are in this income level 100,000 and you spend a lot of energy and time looking for investment and analyzing stocks, analyzing markets, while you spending these amounts per month, which means that your return is lower than your cost on just one of the things that you could maybe cut cost on, then in that case you should spend your time saving, or should concentrate more on saving than on investing. Because when you talk about investing, it means you have to analyze the markets. Other than just the money market funds, they are the stocks. You have to maybe spend time and energy analyzing how maybe a certain stock is doing. You analyze the monthly, the quarterly, maybe even the yearly kind of trend that stock is doing. And by so doing, you find yourself that you're spending more energy and time doing something that maybe it's not your time to do. Unlike someone who has already accumulated more money, like if you have 1 million shillings in the money market funds or in the stock exchange, where your annual return maybe is the same, maybe 14%, it means that you're earning 140,000 shillings from your investment. So even if you're incurring the same monthly subscription of Netflix, your annual costs is far much below your annual return. So this kind of person can spend time and energy analyzing the markets and doing that, because now it's the time to invest. They've already saved. So please be careful. Use your energy wisely. When it's time to save, save. Spend time and energy on save. When it's time to invest, invest. Spend time and energy analyzing the markets, researching the money market funds, etc. And as I said, I have a few giveaways. So giveaway 1 is a personal budgeting, saving and growth template. So it's in the description. So all you need to do is print the Excel sheet if you don't want to use the computer. Otherwise, if you have a laptop, if you have a computer, even in your phone, if you have the Excel or the Microsoft Excel, you can use it. And I want you to use it for 6 months. And I believe you'll have a testimony. And I've also attached a link to our Telegram page for community, where we shall be using that page for accountability. I want to know how is the going? How are you using the template? I have attached 2 templates, one with figures and the other one is empty, so that you can fill the figures as you wish. So basically every month in January, 2025, you have to state your saving goal. You probably want to save 20,000 shillings or more, or 100,000 or more, whatever your goal is. Then you come here and fill in first your actual monthly income. So many people have one source of income. So if it's a salary, you'll fill in the net amount. But this template, as you continually fill it, as you continually use it, it will challenge you to like have these columns or these rows filled. So you should like, how do you increase your income? Side hustles, if you have an online shop, if you have odd items in the house that you need to sell, gifts, maybe it's a bonus for work or somewhere else, and any other extra income. So this field template, this person has 150,000 shillings at the end of the month. Then under expenses, these are the expenses that most I have included in this template, and I've put savings here as an expense, meaning that in our challenge, you're expected to budget what you're going to save during that month as part of your budgeting for other things like utilities, bills, entertainment, and debts. So in this case, if you're saving in a chama, how much have you budgeted? And you fill in whether you actually did it or not. So the actual saving that you make, if it's in a circle, how much have you budgeted and did you do it or not? So when you do it, you fill it in the actual cost column. For emergency funds, you've budgeted 3,000, but did you do it or not? For personal development, you budgeted 5,000, but you only had 3,000 to spare. You budgeted for your life or education insurance policy 4,000. And other saving 2,000. So you budgeted 17,500 out of your income as savings, but you only ended up saving 10,000. Then you have your utilities. So these are some of the fixed costs that we have in our lives, which you have to, whether you like it or not. Things like rent, hotel and electricity, gas, grocery shopping, house help, house maintenance, and others. Then I have included another column for bills. Some of these are compulsory, you have to do them. Some are adjustable. We have school fees, transport for school, transport for work, fuel, car maintenance, spouse. If you eat head, or if you do actually give them an allowance, how much have you projected? Probably you had projected 10,000 to the spouse, you ended up spending 15,000 on them. Then parents and siblings, you budgeted to spend 10,000, you ended up spending 14. So these will give you the total amount of bills that you have budgeted versus how much you actually spent. So in this case, you budgeted 62, you actually spent 79. Then for entertainment, things like the gym, dining out, others, but these will vary from person to person. Also debts, tithe, you budget for it, and if you actually do pay it, you say. For chama, if you have a chama debt, you budget for it and you actually pay for it. If you have mobile apps debt, and this will actually help you to know your position. Like as you're moving along, the first month will actually be like an eye opener. It will give you a summary of all your bills, a summary of all your obligations versus what you actually make. And at the end of the day, the total budgeted cost will be displayed here versus the total actual cost. So you will be able to know whether you're overspending or underspending. If you're overspending, it will be in red. If you're underspending or living within your means, it will be in green. Like if here we try to reduce a certain cost. So we budgeted to spend 10,000 on the spouse, but the spouse was understanding this month, so we spent nothing on them. We budgeted to spend 10,000 on siblings, but they didn't ask for anything this month. So in total, we have saved about 14,000. So we are living within our means. It's green. But then again, the total cost versus the total income. So in this case, as much as we're living within our means in terms of expenses, budgeted versus actual, it means that either we have to increase our incomes or reduce our spending, because this person has to take another mobile loan of about 25 or 26,000 shillings to be able to fulfill all the obligations of these costs. But if the costs were lower, if you're able to reduce some costs, let's see what we can reduce here. So this is the problem sometimes with budgeting, or rather with cutting costs as opposed to increasing your incomes. Sometimes you try to go through the categories like what your obligations are, and when you try to look what cost can you reduce, like if you look at groceries, people have to eat, so sometimes trying to touch that might not be a possibility. If you go to normal categories, maybe if you're using your car to go to work, that month you can say, I'll just use transport for work, so that you'll have no car bills for maintenance or fuel. You can't reduce things like medical and grooming, especially if you're working. And it goes to entertainment. You've already used minimal on the gym, so now dining out, you reduce it also. Debts, if you're trying to get out of debt, then this is a cost that you can compulsorily do. Sometimes you try to look which one you can be able to spread over a longer period, although the interest might be higher, but you can be able to reduce. So this will prevent you from borrowing. So now we still have an excess of 5,200. We can't live in the dark. We can't reduce our rent. Maybe we can reduce our groceries shopping to 10,000. So in that case, our incomes is higher than our costs. And at the same time, we've been able to save 10,000, and the extra amount of 800 will go towards within our savings. So by reducing our costs, we have spent lower than what we had budgeted, and two, we have spent lower income, or rather our cost is lower than our income. So again, we are living in the green, which means we are within our means. So if you do these, you'll be able to understand your position, you'll be able to live accordingly. So I've attached both this one with figures so that it can guide you, and this one without figures. So this one without figures will basically be for you to fill in when necessary. So your incomes, you can fill in your savings targets, your utilities, you can always change. And if you're not able to use a laptop, you can change and then print out. When you print out, it will be about 2 pages. And basically you can fill in with a pen. But that means you'll have to do the arithmetic manually so that you can be able to get the totals. The other thing, there's a link here that will lead you to our Telegram page. So join it, Falme Wetu, and you'll be able to learn, or rather access more resources for your growth. Pitfall number 2, entrepreneurs without records. Without proper record, it's hard to track incomes and expenses. Many businesses fail simply because they don't know where their money is going. Ukitembea tu hapo nje, Mama Njeri, the kibanda lady, she makes money. If you do calculations, you see she's always swamped with people buying groceries. but at the end of the month, she's probably in debt or doesn't know where her money is. And why is that? She's not able to track it. Basically, what happens when you're running a business and you don't have records? Imagine this: getting into a dark room. It's not your house, it's just a dark room. And someone tells you there's a light switch, but they don't tell you where it is. So, as much as you've opened your eyes, you can't see in the dark, but you start feeling with your hand along the walls to find out whether you can be able to place the light switch. And normally the light switch is just around where the door is, but imagine this case, it's not there. It's somewhere else. So you'll spend a lot of time trying to look for it. But remember, time is moving. Time has not stopped. So whatever you're supposed to do, you're doing it in the dark. It's the same thing. Without records, you're in the dark. You're running your business like a blindfolded person. Wherever it takes you, it's out of your control, because definitely you're not in charge. The fate is in charge. So that's why we have the giveaway number 2. It's a basic accounting system. I'm saying basic because it's in Excel. As much as it's basic, I believe it has the premium sense is that you wouldn't be able to freely find it anywhere, but I'm giving you for free. But you'll need to learn a little bit of Excel, probably get a computer or a laptop, and I'm urging you, use it for 6 months. And you'll be able to advance to more complex functions, and you'll be able to also give us feedback in a community of accountability on how you're progressing. So here's the template. Again, I have attached 2 templates. One with figures and the other one without figures. So basically, it's an accounting system which starts with the normal bookkeeping, where you have a ledger, where this ledger is supposed to be filled every day. So you have the column for date, then for the particulars, and we have 2 sides. On one side, we have what comes in as cash, or rather incomes. And in that case, that will be capital and sales. And on the other side, you have expenditure, or expenses that are incurred by the business, from purchases all the way to personal drawings. But I've also included other things that are not necessarily expenses, so that's why you've put here expenditure. Things like loan repayment. This is a cash outflow item, so I've put it under expenditures. And when you buy assets for the business, like computers, furniture, and all that, again, that is a cash outflow item, so it's in this column. So you'll put your particulars here, like this person paid January rent. They had a capital balance of 15,000, and they put some investments from their savings of 10,400. So in total, they had cash of 10,400. They were able to pay their rent. Then they made sales of 2 items at 500. So this column has a formula, so don't tamper with it. And this will be able to give you a breakdown of the expenses at the end of the period, and a breakdown of your cash flows at the end of every day. Then there's some guidelines here, like what you're supposed to do at different points, like the amount brought forward for capital, what you're supposed to do with it. So in case you require more information, there's an email address here, jeffkafka@gmail.com. Or you require more classes on this, you can comment below and we'll be able to do it. So after you fill in this ledger, or as you fill it every day, it's able to give you a breakdown of the balances. This is what you call in accounting a trial balance. So the trial balance at the end of every day should have these balances. You're able to know how much your capital is, how much your cash is, and this can be either on the debit or on the credit, depending on whether you have overspent or underspent, or you still have positive cash flows. And then it gives you the income and expenditure, or the profit and loss. These places I have put green. Again, it's in the guidelines how you value your stock. You'll have the opening stock at the beginning of every month, and you'll have the closing stock at the end of each month. So you're able to use them. There's a formula that has already been input, so your work is just to input these two in green, and these others will automatically update themselves the moment you fill in the ledger. Then the financial position is basically at the end of it tells you at the end of every day or at the end of every period how much your business is worth in terms of assets, in terms of current assets, in terms of cash and cash equivalents. So even when you're saving in a chama or a circle, that amount comes here as cash and cash equivalents. It tells you about your creditors, short-term and long-term loans, and some expenses owing. And you're able to know your net worth, you're able to know your capital, your profit and loss, and also your cash flow. Like how much cash flow is coming from your operations, your investments, your financing, the net cash flows, and the opening cash balance. This one you'll have to fill that what was the cash you had at the beginning of the period, so that it tells you what cash you have at the end of the period, and this is placed in the statement of financial position. So it's a basic, I would say elementary kind of system, but it's very useful. It has helped a lot of business people to know how to keep records, and my urge for you is to use it for 6 months and then give me the feedback. You will, 1, become a pro, 2, be in a better position to manage your business. Pitfall number 3, neglecting tax compliance. Ignoring tax obligations can lead to penalties and hurt your business. And many people assume taxes are optional until it's too late. So what I'm saying here is let's comply with taxation. If it's about turnover tax, if it's about value added tax, if it's about pay as you earn for you and your employees, if it's about making annual returns, if it's about rental income tax, comply. It's cheaper to comply. The reason why I'm saying this is because if you look at KRA, if you look at what is happening with KRA and companies that do not comply, like here, Suraya Property Group loses 3.5 billion tax keys of failure to present documents to KRA, and so many cases. Keroche has cases with KRA, so compliance is very necessary. And if you look at this website here, by the Kenya Law National Council of Law Reporting, these are all cases concerning businesses versus KRA, Commission of Customs, Commission of domestic taxes. So these are people who had compliance issues or underpayment issues. They did not pay taxes that they filed, or even non-filing of taxes when taxes are due. And you can see these are many cases. So this is just 2022. So you can imagine what has the cases in 2023, the cases in 2024. So please don't be one of the statistics because of non-compliance. So it's better to comply, and then I'll teach you on how to avoid paying taxes. Remember, tax avoidance is legal. Tax avoidance is, the wise thing to do. But tax evasion, that's where you get to know KRA, mamako. And since there are always changes in KRA, I'm giving away gift number 3, which again is attached in the description. It's useful for employers and payroll accountants. It's the new pay as you earn template for your organization. But I must warn you, watch out for tax changes that KRA does, because it often does that will affect the payroll. This is how the template looks like, where you have the employee details, then the taxable incomes. Basically, it's the basic pay and other taxable benefits. Again, check the KRA website so that you can understand the taxable benefits, car benefits, lunch benefit, etc. And then you have the gross pay. Then we have what you call in the allowable deductions, and the current 2024 December 2024 guidelines have included some of the things that are not allowable deductions to be deductible, like SHIF, which is 2.75% of the gross pay, the housing levy deducted from the employee, which is 1.5% again of the gross pay, and other items. So depending on your company, depending on your employee, and when you fill in that information, you'll be able to, it will calculate, this template will calculate for you the taxable pay, it will calculate for you the taxes, it will calculate for you the total deductions, and it will give you the net pay, how much the employee gets at the end of the month. So basically, all you need to do is fill in with the relevant data. If you have more than this number of employees here, you just need to add the columns. The rows. So I'm assuming you know how to use Excel, and then to copy the formulas. So every cell that has a formula, like this one, you just need to copy it downwards up to the number of employees you have. But again, I've included some few guidelines here that will help you to understand and fill in this, even if you're not an expert in taxation. And I've stated that this is for information purposes only, while all due diligence has been done by me to comply with KRA amendments to pay computations pursuant to the Tax Laws Amendment Act of 2024. Amendments to pay computation pursuant to the Tax Laws Amendment Act 2024. So this is what KRA now has, some of the changes it has made, which will be carried forward from the payrolls of December 2024 and then January 2025 going on. But my urge is, since KRA keeps on changing, keeps on making amendments now and then, you have to also do your research and watch out on our website of KRA. But for updates on KRA and other resources, please click on this link and it will take you to our Telegram page, and you'll be able to find many more resources in there. Pitfall number 4, missing out on digital opportunities. The world is moving online, and failing to leverage digital platforms can limit your reach and earnings. So here's a small illustration that you hear. If you're still doing business the analog way, opening a shop front and waiting for customers to come to you, you're here, Stone Age, and you're wondering why things are not working out for you. It's because people are not in that space anymore. Where do you find them? You find them online. And as complex as you might think it is, it's not. So my advice is set up and start. Use social media and e-commerce platforms like Jumia to market and sell your products or services. Even small businesses can thrive online with minimal investment. And I've said Jumia because I've personally used it and I have receipt. So here is my seller center, and you can see use my email, jeffkafka@gmail.com. So basically all you do is have a product and post it, or rather you follow the guidelines. As long as you follow the guidelines set out by Jumia, they okay your product, they okay your item, and you can make a sale. Like in this case, I was able to sell that product but since I've not been active for so many months, I've been temporarily deactivated. But once I get the products, I can be able to continue selling them on my Jumia center. But again, I must mention, especially for beginners, you don't have to go to Jumia or Shopify, but you should try and end up there. But you can I see people selling on Facebook. I see people selling on Instagram. I see people selling on TikTok. Right now, TikTok allows you to advertise your products. Just pay a small amount of money and your products will be shown to many people. So what is stopping you? Set up and start. Pitfall number 5, relying on one income stream. Depending on a single income source is risky. If it dries up, you're left without options. And I saw this firsthand in 2020. A lot of employed people who were depending on one income had difficulties because when businesses were closed, they were unable to move on in their lives because that income stream had been cut off. But I know some guy called Moas. Moas is a teacher. Moas, for the longest I've known him, he's always advertising honey on his WhatsApp page, on his Facebook page, on Instagram. So he is a known distributor of honey. So he does it after work, he does it during weekends. So even when Corona hit, Moas was not affected because he was still selling his honey. He had a side hustle, which was his second source of income. And Moas was able to adapt. Since he already had customers, he was able not to upsell honey with other items. Like if someone needed eggs, someone needed products from the farm, Moas was the guy. So what are people doing? So I won't just tell you to do that without telling you some of the ways that you can be able to get an extra income. So here I have a few. Online duka. We've already talked about starting a shop on Instagram. On your WhatsApp status can actually be a shop, an online duka. Car boot sales. I know you've seen those people selling yams, selling clothes in their boots during weekends. So this is another way of making an extra income. Or you can register your car for the cab hailing companies, Bolt, Uber, Wasili, and there are so many others, Little Cab, or partner with delivery services like Global if you have a motorbike, and do that in the weekend. Affiliate marketing, especially if you're big on the internet space, you can easily do that. Online or physical tutoring. If you are an expert in a subject, if you're a teacher, there are people who are always looking to maybe, guide their kids, or rather have private tutors for their kids during weekends and holidays. Online consultancy, like writing, graphic design, web design, on websites like Upwork and Fiverr, etc. Event planning and decoration, photography and video editing. And I will make an episode for these skills that you need to have in order to be able to do these and where you can get these skills. So don't depend on one source of income. Pitfall number 6, chasing get rich quick schemes. I know as you're speaking, someone being conned. I've been a victim. I'll put a story shortly in the coming weeks about how I was conned with malenge pumpkins, And it's simply a story where you are given these, ideal situation where you invest a little amount of money and you make an absurd amount of money, not knowing that you're the product, you're the one being the money that you're going to give them is what they're trying to look for. So these schemes promise quick wealth but often end up in losses. Nahidiwa heaven, najikuta hell. If it sounds good to be true, it probably is a lie. So think twice. So the upside is focus on legitimate ventures and steady growth. Research thoroughly before investing and avoid putting all your resources into high-risk schemes. So these schemes, all these stories come from friends and people we trust, our pastors, etc. So do your due diligence. And even if someone puts a gun on your head and tells you must do this, don't put all your resources in there. Think twice. And the last pitfall number 7, not upskilling. I hope this is a word. It's from the word skills, So upskilling is changing your skill sets or updating your skill set. Sticking to updated skills in this fast changing world limits your earning potential. So most of the things that we've listed as side hustles that you can do requires you to have a certain skill set. And this skill set, forget what you learned in school. I have a friend, Shiko, and Shiko studied forestry, at Moi University. And after leaving campus, Shiko boasts that she's never used her degree certificate, but it's because she's never gotten a job concerning what she studied. But she boasts that she's never used a degree certificate and she's never spent a coin on learning the new skill because she's self-taught. She taught herself how to code, and she's good at creating basic apps. She's good at creating websites, and she's thrived. She has a company and she's employed people who go to school to study computer science. All she did was skill that she knew was marketable. So there's so many skills that you can learn, and I'm urging you to continuously learn and adapt. Explore free or affordable resources to gain skills like bookkeeping, digital marketing, or even farming techniques. So sometimes you don't have to always look for what is free, even if it costs, That's why when we were looking at our personal budget to save and grow, one of the saving categories that we put was for personal development. And I put it here intentionally that you must budget and actually incur the cost for personal development. And this personal development means having an extra skill that can help you earn more than what you're earning, and also align you to the changing times. Because in the age of AI, in the age of digital marketing, the age of these disruptive changes that are happening, no one is assured that the job that you're having will be relevant in a few years' time. So what's your excuse? People are learning business management skills, social media management and digital marketing skills, AI and automation skills. If you're not already using AI to 10x your production, you're already lagging behind. E-commerce and online business skills, soft skills for remote work. I need to speak a little bit about soft skills. This is basically things like communication skills, presentation skills, because the reason why some people don't get the jobs that they deserve or that they long for is because they can't express themselves or can't present their ideas. So these soft skills, especially now, even if it's not physical meeting, for remote work, you need to be able to know how to talk. You need to know how to present yourself. You need to know how to negotiate. So all these skills, soft skills, as much as they're not usually talked about, but I believe they're important. And creative and design skills. Every day there's someone who wants some graphic design for their company. There's someone who wants a website. So all these skills are, all this is money that is you're leaving on the table if you don't have these skills. So this year, what skill are you learning? This year, how much are you saving? This year, what business are you starting? And that's why I've introduced giveaway number 4. It's actually cash. it might look little, but this is my motivation. This is how I kickstart your journey. So you just have to answer these 3 questions. The first 10 correct responses win 1,000 shillings each. So you have to send your answers and your M-Pesa number to jeffkafka@gmail.com. And here are the 3 simple questions. Question number 1: which pitfalls are you trying to avoid this year and how? Question number 2: which 2 income streams are you looking to acquire in 2025? Also explain how. Question number 3: which skills are you planning to acquire this year? How have you planned to do that? So the 1,000 will help you to start, it will be your first savings. I'm saving this amount of money, I'll give it to you, you lock it somewhere. If it's a skill that you're planning to acquire and it requires payment, that 1K will go towards that. And remember, we are all going to be accountable for that amount. So I am your accountability partner. So don't forget to join the Telegram group. It's in the description. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. It is a business, finance, business management, business documentaries channel that will help you improve your personal life as well as your business life if you're in business. Thank you for watching. Happy New Year. 2025 is your year to thrive financially. Avoid these pitfalls, take charge of your growth, and let's make it a year of transformation. Don't just watch, act, engage, and grow. See you in the Telegram group.
Welcome to the unveiling of untold history documentaries, mastering classes in business management, and sparking insights through money dialogues. This is Jeff Kafka TV, where you discover untold business histories, master the art of management, and ignite money conversations that matter.